Hello, my name is Blake Baxter, and I'm the Media Relations Coordinator and Sports Information Director at Eureka College. Today I'm joined by Chris Robinson, the head coach of the Eureka College men's and women's cross-country programs. And we're here to catch up on his transition to athletics. Chris, it's good to have you here. We'll be seeing a lot more of each other now, but I know you've been really busy lately. So how are you doing, and what have the past few months been like for you?
Hey Blake, good to see you. Yeah, the last few months have been strange. As you can see, I'm in my sunroom at home, not my normal office. And you mentioned the transition from over to athletics. I've spent the last 7 years working in admissions at Eureka College, and I'm currently our assistant director of transfer admissions. So my last couple of months have really still been primarily focused on my job as the assistant director of transfer admissions. I'm still trying to build our transfer class, bringing in new students and kind of rounding that out. So it's been an interesting process going from being able to actually get out to local community colleges and seeing people face to face and talking about the great opportunities at Eureka College to having to try to do all of that through Zoom and being restricted really to just making phone calls, sending texts, shooting emails. But it's been a fun challenge, and I think a lot of the students have responded well to it.
So as you mentioned, you're currently moving from Eureka College admissions department to athletics. Could you give us a little bit of a peek behind the curtain of that transition at this moment?
Sure. Like I said, I focused mainly on building my transfer class. We have a new assistant director of transfer admissions coming in. So I've been working with him, trying to train him, get him up to speed, kind of tying up some loose ends of students I've been working with, but we'll continue to help him in the transition since, I won't be too far away from the admissions house over in athletics. But then I've been starting to work on trying to build a little bit of a relationship with a couple of the current students that want to run cross country for us in the fall, and then some incoming new students that we brought in through both as a new incoming freshman and also the transfer pipeline.
What were your initial thoughts when you found out that EC was bringing cross country back, and then what was your reaction once you landed the job?
So I've joked for a long time that if I could just figure out how to get paid to run, I'd be a really happy guy. So when Brian Moore, our athletic director, approached me with our dean of admissions at the time, Mac, and said, "Hey, Chris, we have this opportunity for you. What do you think?" At first, I'm like, "This is a joke. This will never happen," And the more we talked about it, I'm like, "Wow, this is the real deal." So I was really excited, and but this was back in January, so it kind of felt like it was something that was way off down the road. It didn't feel all that real yet. Even when I signed the contract, it still didn't feel all that real because I was so caught up in my regular duties as the transfer guy.
Right.
So it's slowly starting to sink in, now that I actually have some team members on both the men and women's side. I've been working with them over the summer remotely, getting workouts to them. It gets more and more real and more exciting the closer and closer we move to July and August.
Switching gears a little bit, I know that you once told me that you broke a 5-minute mile when you were in high school, but you didn't really develop a passion for running until later in life. Could you tell the story of how that came to be?
So I grew up in Morton, Illinois, home of the Pumpkin Festival, the largest pumpkin cannery in the country. And I always kind of in the back of my mind thought, I'm from Morton, I should run the Morton Pumpkin Festival 10K at some point. And so that's actually what fueled it. I decided one year, all right, this is the year. I went out online and I found a training program that was supposed to get me ready in 20 weeks to run a 10K. And started to follow it and started to talk to some friends locally that ran, and eventually, worked up the courage to run with other people. Because when I first started, I was kind of embarrassed and unsure about my own abilities and didn't want to, in my mind, hold other people back. As I started to run with more people, I realized that the running community is incredibly supportive. And that's one of the things that really started to kind of build my passion for running. This group of people, didn't matter what their talent level was, what mine was. They wanted to see me succeed and be happy and be healthy in this new endeavor. So they were so supportive, so encouraging. And as the more I ran, the more I realized, like, this is a lot of fun. I entered a 5K as kind of a lead up to the 10K that I was going to run. And I ran very successfully in that race. It was a big confidence booster. The guy I started running with initially, he was training for a marathon, and I thought he was far beyond my talent level. There's no way I can run with this guy. Well, I ended up beating him pretty handily in the 5K. And I found out that, wow, I do have some of this speed that I used to have back in high school is still there. So I just continued at it. I successfully completed that first 10K. I met some more local folks that were into trail running. Trail running led me to longer distances. Ultimately led me to running and competing in some ultra marathons. For people that don't know, an ultra marathon is anything beyond the traditional 26.2 miles. Most of them you'll see are starting at the 30-mile range and up. So I've competed in a few of those and just love the camaraderie of being out there with people, just, trying to be healthy and see what you can get your body to do. And it's also brought my family together. My kids saw that I enjoyed running, so it's something they decided they wanted to try, especially after they realized that them and sports that involve balls are really not a mix. So they fell in love with it. My wife has run from time to time, so it's become kind of a family thing, and I enjoy getting out there and seeing everybody having fun and competing. And the thing I like about it the most, I was quick, years ago, but now even at 47 years old, running is the sport that you can actually continue to be competitive at much later in life. I just competed in a virtual 5K, and I ran it in 20 minutes and 23 seconds, and it was a nationwide thing, and I was like 54th in the nation in my age group. So wow. I thought that was really cool. And I was actually, for the state of Illinois, in my age group, I was number 1, and I was number 5 in the state of Illinois across all age groups. So it's something that you can keep doing, and you continue to be very successful at a fairly high level.
What has it been like following your kids' careers as they've developed into talented runners in their own right?
Unbelievably gratifying. My daughter, Nora, who is just finished her senior year, was the first one to really express the interest. And she and I started running together at a pretty young age for her. I think she was 5 or 6 the first time she went out on a run with me. And she's always been one of those kids that is involved in absolutely everything. Band, chorus, student council, speech, very involved, but always loved cross country and track. So watching her career has been a lot of fun, seeing her progress through middle school, 7th and 8th grade, then coming on to the high school and seeing how much she improved each and every year. She's one of those that started out in middle school was kind of always on the B team, but then made her way into the A team, got herself some medals in middle school, and then built on that success in high school. And basically after her freshman year, she consistently was on the varsity team sophomore year and throughout, running in the top 7 for Eureka High School team, which was awesome to watch, especially her junior year. When the women's team, the girls team, won the state title at class 1A. So she was part of the state championship team in 2018. Yeah, 2018. So it's been so exciting to watch. And then my son Nigel, who's a couple of years younger than Nora, started running too in middle school like she did. And he didn't come at it quite as naturally as Nora, but he's one of those kids that once you put him in motion, he's not going to stop. Unfortunately, he's had a couple injuries that he's dealt with, and this year, his junior year, will be his first year actually running at the high school level. But he's excited. He's putting in the work. He and I have been running together this summer, and they've actually been able to start open voluntary workouts with the high school team. So he started doing that on Monday. and he's having a blast. Sure. Like I said, it's been really gratifying watching my kids get involved in cross country and enjoy it. And it was nothing that I ever said, hey, you need to run cross country. They just saw how much I enjoyed my running, going to different races and watching me and seeing how much fun everybody was having, that they just kind of decided on their own that they wanted to run as well. And there's no better feeling to see your kids enjoy the same things that you do.
So how would you describe and kind of sell cross country to newcomers who aren't very familiar with the sport?
Cross country, again, it's that whole, supportive running community. When you go to a meet, yes, the teams want to win. Yes, individuals want to do as best they can, but they're cheering on their friends that they've met at other meets from other schools. There's never really this animosity towards this other team, like we're taking you down. It's so supportive. So that's one of the things I really like about it. You'll meet a lot of people and create friendships across the region by running cross country, and you can maintain those down the road. The other thing, I think it's a really kind of unique team sport that a lot of times people don't realize how much team strategy goes into it. Yes, everybody's running individually and they're trying to do the best that they can individually. But for your team to be successful and to get a good score at a cross country meet, it's very beneficial to run a strategic race and to have your runners bunched together as best as possible. Scoring in cross country is similar to golf. Low score wins. So you take your top 5 runners and you take the place that they finished in the race and you add those placements up, and that's what your team score is. So obviously you want some fast runners. Eureka High School was blessed with a very fast runner, a 2-time state champion who typically won every race she entered. So you're going to get a low number with her. But they were also really blessed with having their other runners, the number 2 through 5, they were able to keep together in a pretty decent bunch. So there weren't a lot of people in between them. So that meant, they were keeping their score as low as possible. So you want to be cognizant of that and be able to kind of get your team to run together and try to keep as bunched and keep that score low. And sometimes it takes a runner that might be a little bit faster to sacrifice a little bit for the team to keep those bunchings well. So it's an interesting sport where it's not always just about how fast can each individual run on a given day, but it's how well can you guys as a team run together.
Do you have anything else that you'd like to talk about or anything else that you want to say to the Red Devil fans out there watching?
Yeah, sure. I'm just really, really excited to get out there, to actually have the students back on campus. That's going to be awesome. Can't wait to see them. And start some new traditions here at Eureka College. It's great to be able to have this program, these sports back and available for our students. Anybody can do it. I want students to realize that it's not about your time. It's not about how fast you ran, what your pace was. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, did I do a little bit better than I did the day before? If you can honestly say that, I'm happy. That's what I want to try to build here. I want our student athletes to be supportive of each other, to have a good time and develop a love for running that they can take on later in life. And one of the things I'm really looking forward to, we're kind of building on, we're going to ride the coattails a little bit of our rivalry that we have on the football side with Knox College. We have the Lincoln Bowl every year. Well, the coaches over at Knox and I have talked, and we're going to do a dual meet with Knox College on the same day as the Lincoln Bowl. So when Knox hosts us this year for the Lincoln Bowl, cross country is going to start the day off with a dual meet against Knox College. And the next year when the Red Devils are hosting the Prairie Fire for the Lincoln Bowl, we'll be hosting a meet here with Knox College. So I'm looking forward to building that tradition and having that go in the forward and be something fun and a really cool way to kick our season off.
Sounds great, Chris. I really appreciate your time and hope to see you soon.
Yep. Good to see you, Blake. We'll see you soon.